Hey, Craig here. So I'm going to be making a lot of dies soon. So in this video I'm going to be testing the Tormach Facemill to see if I can use that for a lot of the roughing. So as you see, I'm going to start this test at 100 inches per minute, 3600 RPM, a step over of 1 inch, and a depth of cut of 20 thousandths. This should be an MMR of 1.9. The horsepower rating should be around 0.46. Okay, well that seemed to go okay. Let's try 25 thousandths depth of cut, which should be an MMR, material removal rate, of about 2.5. Okay, well 25 thousandths seem to be okay. Let's try 30 thousandths, which should have an MMR of basically 3. Okay, well that seemed to sound okay. So the next one is going to be 35 thousandths, and that would be 3.5 MMR. Okay, well as you can see, I've actually lost 2 of the inserts. 2 of the screws broke off. Actually, the inserts, they're a little it's chipped on one side, but I can actually use the 2 other sides. So all I need to do is pick up a couple more screws and I'll be able to put this back in business. Alright, so I got my screws in from Tormach here. Really tiny screws. They're like $5 a piece. I bought 2 extras. Something I failed to mention earlier was how I got the screws out. When these inserts first broke off, I was like, how am I going to get these screws out? And I went online and people are talking about welding this on and drilling out and stuff. So what I decided to do is I decided to try, and I actually managed to pull them out or screw them out with this little screwdriver. I think that since it had the anti-seize on there, they were able to come right out. So if you're changing inserts and you decide to skip this step of putting the anti-seize, I wouldn't recommend that. So I was able to basically putting the screwdriver on a piece of the screw, what's left of it, I just kept on turning it, and it finally came out. So thank goodness for that, because otherwise, if I couldn't get them out, I'd have to get a whole nother, head here. So I also got some new inserts. Before it was Mitsubishi, but I guess Tormach has their own brand of inserts now. It was like, I don't know, $100 or something for a set of 10. So it's like $10, but you get 2 sides to the insert, so it's really only like $5 or $6 per side. So that's pretty cool. Definitely gonna be a lot cheaper than using a roughing end mill. So, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of these inserts in and get ready for the next test. Something I noticed on the back of this, actually, is that it's saying on here from 900 to 2630 surface feet per minute. So you should be able to do 5,000 RPM easily with this. So, all right, cool. Okay, so the only thing that's changed here is the RPM. I'm going 5,000 RPM, 35 thousandths depth of cut, the same depth of cut where we crashed and burned at 3,600 RPM. Well, that certainly went a lot better than the last time. The Tormach 770 has more power at 5,000 RPM. It's running at 60 Hertz. Alright, so the next one is going to be 4 thousandths depth of cut. Everything else is going to be the same. Okay, well you can definitely hear that was starting to bog down. That was an MMR of 4 at 0.85 horsepower. So I think probably 35 thousandths depth of cut with an MMR of 3.5 at 0.7 horsepower is a better formula or better recipe. Okay, well, while we're at it, let's try 6,000 RPM. I backed it down to 35 thousandths depth of cut. Well, it didn't sound too bad there. Let's try 40 thousandths depth of cut. This will be an MMR of 4. The surface feet per minute is about 2,400. Well, that did seem to sound a little better than 5,000 RPM, but I'm not sure if it's worth pushing it to 6,000 RPM or 2,400 surface feet per minute to do so. So, I don't know, I think I'm probably going to stay at around 35 thousandths depth of cut, MMR of 3.5 at 0.75 horsepower. Okay, so what is my takeaway from all this? My takeaway is that since I can run it at 5,000 RPM and still be within the surface feet per minute, it seems to be a viable tool for material removal, as long as the size isn't an issue. Obviously it's 1.5 inches, so if you're trying to get into spots or stuff like that, and obviously if you're like trying to contour around something deeper, it might not work, but it seems to be a pretty decent tool. Now I'd probably prefer to go with, say, like a 1 inch or maybe a 3/4 inch. I think Tormach has a 3-flute 1 inch, but they're out of stock right now. Otherwise I would have ordered it by now. Yeah, I'll probably end up going with that. So, well, if you have any suggestions of future videos you'd like me to do, or parts you'd like to see me machine or something like that, feel free to leave it down below. Well, if you like this video, I'd appreciate the thumbs up. If you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. If you'd like to subscribe, there should be a subscribe button here. Other videos as normal down below you might like to watch. And as always, thanks for watching.